Love our college football hour. Prater in the ball game, and Prater is back in the rollpaint.com studio, chugging his water there. You need to be hydrated after a vacation like that, I bet.
This was one of those vacations where I won't get into a lot of details. I may have been, I should have been hospitalized twice. I'll just leave it at that.
What? And guys, that's news to me too. He has not mentioned that.
At least one of them was kind of serious. The other one,
wow,
Prater hyperbole.
Glad you're okay, right, JP? I mean, if he would have tried to get another day or two out of this, we would have thought something.
Now, if I'd have got a text that said, "JP, I need Bob to fill in because I'm in the hospital," then we would have had to have some questions for you, Prater. Most of the time, we don't ask you about your vacations too much.
Yeah, we came really close twice on this vacation, but it was a beautiful vacation. Thank you very much.
Not exactly radio friendly. Prater's vacations, JP. Can't wait. I got one coming up here. I'm gonna get after it.
You're gonna. If there's one guy on this planet who can hang with Prater on a vacation, it would be you.
Oh, thanks, Prater. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Or maybe vice versa. Can I hang with you on a vacation?
Yeah, I think we'd have a great time doing it. It'd be dangerous and very immature, sophomoric. Throw anything in there, but it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
Before we die or get to the point on the show where we hate each other, we must go on a vacation together.
That we should definitely, yeah.
And I'm not talking about like a weekend at a sporting event.
JP's not going to allow it though. Who would do the so Bob and BJ for a week?
We'll figure something out.
JP?
Only if you guys came back with some video evidence of what you did and maybe a blog or two that we could post about what actually happened on this vacation.
Love it.
Some sort of evidence.
This is our video segment of the program today. So we are airing this on all forms of our social media channels. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you could be like the 14th person to do it if you did right now, which would be pretty bitching. I'm kidding.
You promised me by the time I came back would be up to 20.
I think we're close to actually 75 to 80 now.
What?
We're making some progress, Prater.
Right. Well, go ahead and do that. It'd be awesome. Prater, okay, since you went on vacation, now you're back. The world has changed.
The reason why I went on vacation is because I saw that headline last week and I went into deep, dark depression for a while.
Dude, and it's still what everybody's talking about. College football realignment, beginning with USC, UCLA, joining the Big Ten in 2023, I think. Yeah, this will be their last season in the Pac-12. And then just all the other rumors, where Boise State fits in. So I just want to kind of start with, how are you processing this as someone who's probably been watching college football since before you were 10 years old? You've been covering it for a long time as well. You see what's on the landscape, the horizon, the future of college football, and how are you processing it?
I've been a USC football fan since I was 10. In 1972, I went to my neighbor's house in Twin Falls, Idaho. They were California transplants. Yeah, it happened back in the 70s, guys. And we sat in the basement and watched USC football every Saturday for the entire year, and we did that every year for the next 10 years.
Talking like Marcus Allen era, Greg Bell, or Ricky Bell, whatever, all those guys. Yeah.
Anthony Davis, 6 touchdowns against Notre Dame, all that kind of stuff. I have been a USC football fan since 1972, and USC football was my number one team until the day I walked into my dorm at the University of Utah in 1981. So then all of a sudden USC and Utah became my two favorite football teams. Now that they're in the same league, I go to as many USC football games. I went to the first one in the Coliseum. I went to the first one at Utah. I've been to most of them since they've played. The only time that's ever stopped me from going to a Utah USC football game is if Boise State's playing. And let me introduce you to my third favorite football team, the Boise State Broncos, because they've been such a huge part of my life. Born and raised in Boise, I lived and dreamed the 80 and 81 national championships from Boise State and Idaho State. So yes, very much fan of all three of them. I think all three of them were dramatically impacted last week. And it was a gut punch to my personal stomach that any kind of, my stomach has been made fun of for 50 plus years. And it's never taken a beating more than it has in the last week. Anxiety. I mean, serious anxiety. And I don't get that way. It was a gut punch. I felt sick to my stomach. There is no way this is good for college football. It's the most disgusting thing. All that other stuff that's happened in college football, from the Southwest Conference to all the way up to name, image, and likeness right now, take that and shove it up wherever, because none of it mattered until what happened last week. Ball game. And I know you felt some of this as well. You're a Husky guy. You're a Pac-12 guy.
Love my Pac, man.
You are emotional about the Pac-12.
Dude.
I've been in every single Pac-12 stadium. It's the most important conference to me.
Damn, you have, huh? Wow.
Ball game, it disgusts me. It's made me sick. I didn't want to talk about it for a couple of days. I literally didn't talk to anybody for a couple of days. Then I started reaching out to all my buddies, and then people started responding. And it's been a whirlwind for the last 3 or 4 days as college football is out there. I feel for fans. I feel for Boise State fans. I don't think anything's good coming out of this. I see a whole bunch of stuff on social media where people are dreaming, and we can all dream. I dream. We all dream. I don't think anything good came out of this for anybody. Boise State, USC.
What about the Big Ten?
I
mean, didn't it come? I mean, they just added USC, dude.
I guess. I mean, I hate the Big Ten. I told you, I grew up as a Pac-12 fan. I hate the Big Ten.
USC isn't going to the Big Ten.
I think there's even issues, and I tried to explain this morning. I think there's even issues with the Big Ten. If JP probably doesn't think this way, but if he's an Ohio State fan and he tells us he is, or at least his wife tells him he has to be,
JP,
it's not good news for Ohio State.
See, okay, explain this.
Because Ohio State can walk into California right now and pluck any quarterback or any skill player it wants out of Southern California.
No.
And its recruiting has been massive. And not only that, everybody from the SEC, everybody from the Big Ten has been going into California and stealing players and bringing them to the Midwest or bringing them to the South. And the talent drain. How much have we been talking about you and I have been together for 2 years. We've been talking about the talent drain every week for 2 years. We've been talking about the Pac-12 talent drain on this show for 10 years. It's over. That's the only good thing that came out of this. If you're a Pac-12 guy, if you're a skill position guy in Southern California, why would you go to Ohio State now? You have no reason to go to Ohio State. You could stay at home. You can, hang out with your high school girlfriend. You can hang out with your college girlfriend. You can hang out with both of them. You can go to the beach. You can go home on Sunday nights and get mom's dinner. You can hang out with your buddies on a Friday night. You could do anything you possibly want. And guess what? 6 times a year, I get to fly to Ohio State and play some football, but then I get to come back to California. Why would you go play at Ohio State now if you were a Southern California quarterback? You're playing at UCLA or USC now. You're staying home.
I cannot wait to track this in a decade and see to what effect some of those big-time Big Ten programs who are going into Southern California and pillaging those children and bringing them over to their doomy, gloomy, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, dirt Big Ten conference. I want to see if that does affect them in any way in recruiting, Prater.
They'll still get recruits. They just won't get as many as they're getting now. And it's almost like it's like a one-way street at 90 miles an hour, just from Southern California to Columbus.
So if you're UCLA, you can't go to USC, but UCLA wants you still.
Okay.
Do you see this being an improvement in wins and losses for UCLA going to the Big Ten? Now they can recruit. They'll struggle in football.
I do. They're struggling now.
Yeah, right. UCLA has struggled in football for decades now.
They can't compete in the Pac-12, which is a watered-down version of itself. I think UCLA is going to struggle. I think the fan base is going to struggle. I think at UCLA, we're going to see a lot of the signs that we've seen here. Booster fatigue, high expectations not being met, donorship going down, and leadership having to beg.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure where UCLA is going to give the fans their card back. They're not going to go compete for do you see UCLA playing in the Rose Bowl anytime in the next 20, 30 years?
They haven't been to the Rose Bowl since the 90s.
You're right.
No, not since Cade McCown was the quarterback.
This doesn't make it better. This may cement your future. You're never going to play in the Rose Bowl again.
I was thinking, well, now they have all this TV money coming in, but you said they were broke in the production meeting, so it's not like they're going to be able to bring all this new stuff there. They have people to pay. They have dudes they owe. UCLA does. But does this now with, hey, we're in the Big Ten, make UCLA a sexier place to go than, hey, we're UCLA and we're in the Pac-12? Does that at all? Those Southern California kids who get sold this Big Ten bill of goods and we're in this super conference, maybe they would go to UCLA over Washington or Oregon, places where UCLA has been losing kids lately. Maybe all of a sudden they get those kids. Maybe
I would agree with that. I think UCLA recruiting will get an uptick, but the competition, it won't keep up with the gap in competition. So in order to compete now in what is it going to be? 16, 18, 24, 32, however many teams the Big Ten's going to have eventually. I don't see them ever competing. UCLA is not going to be a major player anymore. They took the cash grab and they went home, and they're going to pay their bills, and they're just going to be mediocre for the rest of their lives.
Have fun with that basketball team playing in West Lafayette, Indiana against Purdue on a Tuesday night in Big Ten hoops. Like,
how about
just
Rutgers
be so
football at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning for USC?
See, I hope they keep it as regional as they can. I hope Rutgers and USC play once every 8 years. I don't need to see this. Fix this.
Exactly. Well, okay.
Big Ten, I mean, know what you have here.
Okay, I'm going to throw out Indiana. I'll throw out Northwestern. What other crappy, Big
Illinois?
Ten teams?
Throw out Illinois too. Give me the fight in the line now. Yeah,
your closest road trip is Lincoln, Nebraska. And I guess a USC fan can pop into the private jet and fly over to Lincoln pretty well, but nobody's going to be going on any road trips for USC football anymore. That sucks. USC football fans like to go on road trips.
They'll go to Ohio State and they'll go to Michigan. But you're right. They're not going to Champaign, Illinois.
One of my greatest college football moments of all time was USC at Washington State, Pullman 5 years ago. It was Boise State wasn't playing. I went up. It was a brutally cold night. USC lost to Washington State that night in the last second game, but there were 5,000 USC fans there. They were representing in Pullman, freaking Washington.
I know, you can't even fly into there, man.
Degrees that night.
Those folks have to fly to Spokane and drive over.
The entire USC band was there, or at least their traveling band. I didn't see a white horse. I didn't see Traveler floating around anywhere. But USC fans like to go to road trips. Good luck. Now you get to fly to Lincoln, Nebraska, or wherever the hell else you want to go. There's nothing that good. We're going to talk a little bit more national here in the next segment. Nothing good came out of last week's ball game. Keep looking for something. What did you find?
All the questions, JP, that I wrote down for Prater, I got to one.
Well, Prater's fired up.
I love it. No, that's
He's
great.
Very upset. Very upset.
But you guys are too, right? We're all kind of sickened by this, right?
Yes.
We're all in this together. I make fun of Ohio State.
Yeah.
I love the Pac-12 in Washington, so I can't make fun of you, Johnny, but we're all in this together, right?
You said it. Like,
this sucks.
Yeah, you had issues with anxiety on this, and I did too. Sitting on my couch, watching the USFL championship game, thinking about where is college football going to be in 5 years? Am I going to not want to watch it anymore? Like, is it just not going to give me the pumpage that it's given me my whole life?
No.
Like, is that where I'm going to be? I'm hoping, dude, I'll still love it. I'll get used to it. I'll figure out, and sooner or later, I won't even remember. Like, I won't know how it was.
Well said. That's the smart, mature, non-social media approach to this thing, and that's hopefully what eventually we all do. I have zero interest in Utah going to the Big 12. I'm barely okay with Utah going to the Pac-12. JP knows I fought that for 5 years on this show.
Can't believe that.
I didn't like I don't want to break up the BYU rivalry. I don't want to, and it wasn't about going into the Pac-12 and worrying about getting your butt kicked or not being the big dog or whatever. It's just college football is different because it's about the fans. It's about the tradition.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with growing up. I'm okay with billion-dollar contracts and name, image, and likeness and cost of attendance and whatever it's going to be in terms of football and college football and TV networks and cash. I'm okay with all that. This one was different. Ball game, I would rather you line up, and I'll be as graphic as I possibly can. I'll spread my legs, Larry Craig style, and you can take your foot and just swing it right in the golden spot every day for a week. I would rather do that than what happened last week.
So that
Can I be any more graphic?
I don't think you could, Prater.
JP. We're taking away his ability.
I'm going to have to change the rating on our YouTube channel to R now after that.
I'm not in the kid business anymore.
I get what you're saying.
It was when I said it was a gut punch. No, go about 18 inches lower or 12 inches lower or whatever. I'm
going to say this.
It hurt.
It was the slap to the face, the punch to the gut, and the kick to the
groin.
To the balls. Yeah.
Yes.
It was all three of those. This was that to you. That's tough.
I think it was to a lot of us, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, are you guys, is anybody happy with where it's going? Like, if you're a fan of Michigan, cool. We get to play USC on the regular, all this stuff. Text us. Let me know those stories at 208-424-9300. We're going to come back to this at 5:15. We're coming back to this next too, Prater.
Somebody needs to convince me that something good happened about this in the last week. I see a lot of stuff on social media about Boise State, and fans, you guys are being optimistic, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it. Never change. But you're fans, and I don't share in your optimism. Shocking. I know that. This was not good for Boise State. This was not good for anybody. Let's try to find in the next segment, and
let's
again,
come back with
5:15,
that.
let's try to find something positive about college football in the West and college football for Boise State. What positive, what good came out of this ball game?
208-424-9300. We can even take a couple calls on the Fat Guys Fresh Deli Hotline. College Football Hour continues on Prater in the Ballgame.
Sponsored by